How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Blue Shifting, and welcome back to Aokana. We're back. It was a really fun trip. We went to the camp. I made some predictions that people are saying I kind of nailed. Like, Rika's been a very prominent character, but we just went to her school. But now that we're going to be probably interacting with a different school, we might not see as much of her, which I'm sure we'll still have some, like, you know, evening encounters because we are neighbors. But yeah, now she might not feel as prominent. I was saying that so far it feels like some characters are getting a lot more preferential treatment than the others, and there's basically an order to it, that as I can see it. Rika's number one. She's had so much spotlight time, basically. Asuka would be next, but that's because she's kind of like a catalyst character. Misaki, I feel like it's a lot of TLC so far. Then is it Madoka or not Madoka? It's Mashiro. Mashiro is at the bottom. And that makes me more curious about Mashiro. She's kind of like an annoying character so far because she's constantly just like hero worshipping. We know next to nothing about her, but that makes me want to get to know more about her because I feel like there's got to be something there, right? And I feel like if I'm going to be making choices that might actually like dictate the ending of the game, if I haven't already started that process, then I'd like to make an informed decision if I can. But again, the first ending I go for is where I kind of just go with the flow and make decisions as I play and let the ending that happens. However, so far I'm starting to get the feel this might be a Grisaeus type of game where the choices I'm making now are already kind of starting to funnel me down certain paths. Now, Grisaeus did have some like basic like, hey, you have to hit these certain triggers, yes or no, in order to like deviate to that path or to continue down the common route. I don't know if that's exactly what I can expect with this. I'm feeling like there's so much like lore and like critical story moments that the common route has to cover. So I imagine if there are deviation points for like different endings, it's not going to be for a while. Like the common story, the core story's gotta cover a lot of tracks. So I don't know, we'll have to see. But it has let me make a few choices so far. It'll be interesting to see, like maybe we want to go back, experiment a little bit and see kind of what some of the differences might be, or maybe there aren't really many differences besides a few lines. Each visual novel is done a little bit differently, and you never quite tell quite on the surface, which is kind of fun. That's part of what I love about them. Yeah, they're big clicky adventures that have no real gameplay, but that's the thing. I play games for the stories. I don't care how much gameplay there is, technically. If the story's good and has good characters, that's what I come here for. It's part of the difference that I think between somebody like me and somebody who plays most other kinds of content on on their YouTube channels is that, you know, they're usually there for the gameplay. I'm here for the story. Now, I think there's a case to be made that you can make your own story in a game really well. I think great examples are RT Game, Many a True Nerd. They're probably some of my favorite channels that I watch, and one of the things that they do is they craft a narrative within the content they make. There's a lot of other good channels out there. I should just make a list and have a list of like, hey, these are the YouTubers I really enjoy watching, and just kind of post it somewhere. Because, frankly, if I could give a shout out to creators, rather however big or small they are, I want to. Also, I really want to try and find some like collabs in the future. Anyway, I'm digressing. Why are we on the main menu here? It's because we're starting in a helicopter and it was freaking loud. So I decided to have the little intro rant here. We'll jump into the loud helicopter when we're ready to go, which is basically now. So let's get going into it. Boom. God, still so loud. Alright, the stars are very pretty. So someone's riding in a private helicopter. Some rich kid, I'm guessing. Does whoever she's talking to, does she want to like jump out of the helicopter and start just flying? Which I guess you can do. Avalon. Irina.
今日は着いたらもう休みましょうか。え？ あなたらしいですね。わかりました。では、すぐに動けるよう準備するようにしておきましょう。
This is gonna be another person who's like has a passion for the flying part. Gotcha. Oh.
着きましたわ。ここが私たちのステージなのですね。
So these two characters. We have probably this one's the bubbly one that's talking arena with the green hair, and then the stoic, probably really scary one back here.
あなたの生まれた場所にして、あなたが空に目覚めた場所。
Oh, are we gonna have a weird backstory with this character too then? Or is it gonna keep us guessing? Because like, it's gonna be one of those things where, God, what was that anime? It came out a while ago. It was like a whole like romance rom-com. Like the guy, it was like he was like the first son of like a Yakuza boss, and then to arrange peace between Yakuza and the police, they arranged to, like, he had a crush on a girl at school who was like the daughter of a baker, and he got arranged marriage with this first daughter of like the police chief, which made no sense, right? Like, I feel like they were trying to do like a modern take on like different samurai houses, like forging alliances and stuff, and trying to make a modern rom-com spin on the whole thing. But that storyline played with, I think, similar themes, where they had this whole like weird, like, he had a locket and they gave a key to a girl he promised to marry when he was a kid, and he was like committed to finding her. That it was just stupid. It was an entertaining anime that was just stupid. Like, it was dumb fun.
そして、あなたがすべてを変える場所です。
I don't know why I'm getting so distracted. You two are apparently something here, so.
あなたならできます。いいえ、あなたしかできません。私、ずっと楽しみにしていました。変えましょう。この空気を超えましょう。この地平を。
Alright, so you've gotten real poetic here. What, like, I don't understand. I guess this is one of the flaws of sports games.
思うままにやりなさい。
Sports stories, especially in Japanese, like anime and stuff, they make it sound like it's literally like world-shattering stuff. And granted, it can be really fun to get caught up in that, but it's also like, these are high school kids, and they're playing a recreational sport. She's talking about, like, change the air of the island, transcend the horizon, travel beyond the sky. It's, you're playing a sport. It's a little insane.
Misaki. はい、イリーナ。フライ。
To be continued. And I thought there was no subtitles for that. Oh, but we do get the intro. Again, it like does this for everyone like an actual episode.
マサヤ先輩も心配してくれてるけど、どこかちょっとギクシャクしちゃってる。ここは一つコミュニケーションをちゃんと取らなきゃ。
Okay, so
私なりの方法でね。次回、青の彼方のフォーリズム第4話。私だって戦いたい。
I wanna fight too.
彼方の向こうに何かが見える。
So, asking you shall receive, I freaking just I was saying, I'm like, I want to see more of Mashiro, because I know a thing about her, and boom, now she's going to be a focus character. Cool. It's like the writers know what they're doing. We've started regular meetings at the Kunahama Academy FC Club. And today I've gathered everyone before practice.
はい、直線タイム、左右各ターン、上昇下降、シザーズ、ハイヨーヨー、ローヨーヨー。もろもろの昨日までのまとめがこれ。
Oh, Madoka crunching the numbers, making graphs and charts. Sounds fun. Thanks.
とにかく、データになりそうなものは全部記録しておけって習ったから。
I mean, it's not a bad habit to have. I definitely am a big fan of, personally, of redundancy. So I will write down or document stuff that might be like too much. But you got to find a balance between this. Actually, something I do for work is I have to track data. And I also feel like the struggle for me is often finding a balance between documenting redundantly to make sure that access of information is easily readable and traceable, but also not being so redundant it's taking too much time. You picked up that at the training camp?
さあさあ、高藤でね。頑張るからちゃんと活かしてよ。
Oh, thank you, Madoka. No worries, I'll make use of everything I can.
やだ、マサヤ頼もしい。キュンときちゃうかも。
We could only hope, but it's not gonna happen. Yeah, no thanks. Actually, there's something I've been wondering.
なーに?
You're the only one who's still using my last name. Why? Not like I really care what she calls me, but I'm on the first name basis with everyone else in the club at this point. It's weird, just she's the odd one out.
え、何? このタイミングでその話題って私を攻略しようとしてる?
You're such a goober. Stop it.
こら、おでこの分け目のとこ狙って突っ込まないでよ。
Wait, hair partition? Is that like supposed to be like a split in her hair, or is that like the band she's wearing? Seemed like the perfect spot to me. Anyway, I didn't really mean anything by it.
そうだね。なんか言いやすい方で定着したし。あ、でも、ひなたくんがどうしてもって言うなら、マサヤって呼んであげてもいいんだけど。
God, that smug smile. Nah, just keep using my last name.
もうちょっと思案してよ。
I turned my eyes away from Madoka. I don't have time to deal with someone who's clearly not taking this conversation seriously. We only just gathered a few minutes ago, so they're all chatting a time away right now.
へえ、モンタット4もう出たんですね。
Mon Eat 4. Is this supposed to be like a game reference?
ちょうど今日発売なんですよ。え、はすか先輩、3はされてたんですか?
What game is it supposed to be a spoof of?
私はゲーム自体あんまりで、でも CM とか見てすごいなって。
Asuka and Mashiro seem to be talking about video games. Yeah! Man, couldn't they come up with a less silly name than Mon Eat? Anyway, that's probably just an abbreviation, huh? Oh, it could be Pokemon, because, like, isn't Poke like a type of food? Like, so Mon Eat, Pokemon, like Mon... I could see that.
ましろちゃんはゲーム好きなんだよね。はい、まあ好きですね。そうなんだ。はい。
Shiro, are you sure about that? You don't sound confident.
では先生、ここに筋トレ道具を持ち込んでもいいと。
Oh, of course, Shion.
普段きちんとしまっておけるならな。転がってるダンベルにつまずいて怪我とか目も当てられんだろう。
ありがとうございます。最新の注意を払います。
あ、じゃあうちに置き場に
The space wasting.
役に立ちそうなバランスボールがあるから持ってこようかな。
本音を先に漏らした上ためらいもせず言い切ったか。まあ飛び沢らしいな。
しかしバランスボールは実際役に立つかもな。
Are they? I always thought they were better just as amusements.
でしょ? 体幹トレーニングやっちゃいましょうよ。
Alright, that's enough chatter. Need your attention now. Starting the meeting. Episode 4, I want to fight to. I love this picture. Like, I know we've already seen it, and we're probably going to see it again and again and again, but it's such a good picture here. God, again, this art style it works for me. I can tell that you're all a lot more motivated nowadays. Everyone's been eager to improve since Golden Week. I was initially worried about the whole thing, but the training camp with Takafuji ended up working out well.
よかったよかった。
Though somebody seems to be the same as always. I'm glad you're making your coach proud, I swear. And honestly, it's only a matter of time until the match scores reflect your hard work. Let's keep this up until we finish the summer tournament top 8.
はい。
Oh!
The two individuals who give energetic replies are the two people who are most motivated. Real motivation shows even in small exchanges like that, or well, I'm not doing people who are the strong, silent type justice if I think that way. It's more that they're actively listening. That's probably a good gauge of their engagement with how motivated they are. Even if you're saying stuff they might know, if you are engaged and interacting with the media, it shows attentiveness, it shows interest, it shows drive. Even if you're strong, silent type, you can still be attentive, engaged, and even be able to respond to questions or to ask questions when being asked, when the floor is opened. Having meaningful questions is one of the best things for anyone who's doing a presentation, lecture, or leading, because it shows active engagement. The downside, like the questions you don't want to hear if you're trying to like lead or something, is a question about something you've already just talked about, because that's like, oh, you weren't even paying attention when I was giving you that information. That's just really sad.
はいはい、マネージャーから一つ。
Yes, Madoka. Go ahead.
コーチはこう言っておりますが、そろそろテスト前週間に入ります。
That's a good point. We need to work on studies as well. Oh, I see.
忘れてた？
I kind of slipped my mind. Funny, since I definitely thought of it when we put together the practice schedule for May. I've been having so much fun lately, I totally forgot. Hey, that's good. The fact that you're not seeing this as like a dance through trauma as much and now is actually fun is really, that's a vast improvement. What's up?
テスト前週間だとどうかなっちゃうんですか？
We probably put our heads down, focus.
私もちょっとわからないです。
Mashiro's a freshman, Asuka's a transfer student, so of course they don't know the rules around here. All club activities are suspended 3 days prior to midterms and 4 days prior to finals.
ああ、そういうのあるんですね。
It really does.
船浜は普通の学校だからな。スポーツ特待がある高藤なんかは違うかもしれないが。
残念ですけど、ちょっとの我慢ですね。お勉強も大事ですし。
Oh, definitely. Especially because most schools also have a policy that if you're failing classes, you have to stop going to clubs until you get your grades up.
違う。ここでは勉強が本分なんだ。楽しい気持ちはわからないでもないが、その順番を履き違えると
Thanks.
大変な目に遭うぞ。
Excellently put, Aoi.
大変な目ですか？
ああ。本テスト追試と続けて赤点を取ると、そいつは最初の合格まで部活ができなくなる。
There you go. Like I said. Yeah, you better be paying attention in class.
本当ですか？
生徒手帳にも書いてあるぞ。一度ぐらいはちゃんと目を通しておくといい。
Let's see here.
見せて見せて。Misaki 先輩、生徒手帳でしたら私の今。ああ、本当だ。
She's like, dang it. Just use my stuff.
というか、皆さんも知らなかったんですか？部活やってなかったから関係なかったし。その割には驚かなかったような。赤点って取ったことないから関係ないかなって。
Oh my gosh, you Mary Sue.
実在するんだ。
Some of us just nod like it's no big deal. And then there are...
全ては気合だ。やればどうにかなる。
club members who visibly grimace, as well as those who start panicking. Uh-oh. Their reactions are more than enough to clue me in on what their grades look like. Why don't we form a study group to help each other out?
それ楽しそうです。
Of course, you're 100%. It's not supposed to be fun. I mean, it's nice when somebody enjoys studying, but that kind of person would never even be in danger of failing a test. Yeah. I mean, if you actually genuinely enjoy it instead of pretending to enjoy it because you want to, like, look cool or... Well, cool is not the word. Look scholarly and, like, in control of your life. I think that is a level of cool, but it's not... Especially in high school, I wouldn't say that's cool, typically.
私は美咲先輩につきっきりで手取り足取り教えていただけたらなんて。
Oh gosh, that actually sounded way dirtier than it should have.
勉強会ってさ、よく聞くけど本当にあれ効果あんの？
That's just because you don't need them.
逃避じゃなくて。
When you don't get anything from study sessions because you're the one probably helping them study. They're probably they're pity parties because you're just dealing with desperate people.
そう言われてしまうと。
いや、だがマンツーマンは効率いいんじゃないか。塾なんかでも取り入れられてるだろう。
そしてマンツとマンツね。
Madoka, that makes zero sense. I'm guessing that's a trend of things for her brain.
まあ、マサヤがどうしてもやるって言うならいいけど。
She's just saying so she's following her coach's advice. Quit glaring at me, Mashiro. Mashiro's pointed gaze focuses on an awkward answer out of me. Well, we'll talk more about this once we get closer to midterms. There's something else I want to talk about. What was it again? I know I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, right. I remember. I wanted to suggest that Mashiro change her playstyle. Oh, interesting. Glad I remember, but she's currently enveloped in thoughts. Talk about bad timing. It's a sensitive topic, so I wanted the timing to be just right. Maybe she's feeling a bit better than she looks. Let's put her to the test. Mashiro?
はい、何ですか？
It's a neutral response so far. A perfectly calm response. And yet I feel like I'm being stabbed by icy daggers as she speaks to me. Well, that makes sense. Guess I shouldn't have expected her to warm up to me so fast after our last exchange. Back to what we were just talking about. Do you want me to tutor you?
いいえ、結構です。先輩のお世話になるまでもありませんから。
Yeah, you got your girl. I see. Yeah, this really doesn't seem like the right time. Bro, I don't know if you're ever gonna have the right time. Bad news never has a right time. Right now, just focus on improving her mood and...
G.
I also got... Oh. Let me guess. You want me to study you, huh? With you, huh? Asuka?
G.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's happening. Need something? What's with that expectant gaze?
G.
She's like, are you gonna offer to me? What's wrong, Asuka? Come on, speak up. This dude, he's got the dense main character syndrome going.
なんでもありません。
Oh my gosh, dude, come on. What? Now she's sulking. Why all of a sudden?
私には言ってくれないんですか？まどかちゃん。
See, Madoka's got it. She knows that he's pretty stupid. Huh?
まあまあ、まさや。これ以上醜態を晒す前に練習に行こうよ。
Yeah. Misaki pats me on the shoulder. She says that. Oh gosh. Hey, wait. I decided to improve Mashiro's mood, but it's soured already. I haven't even done anything yet. Well, whatever. Let's forget about that for now. Right, let's get started. I'll bring up challenging playstyles when Mashiro's in a better mood. Changing styles. No clue when that'll be, but beggars can't be choosers. Uh-oh.
ましろちゃん。
The players are all coming down to the beach after I told them it was time for a break. However, Mashiro suddenly hunches over in pain. What happened? Oh. Can these shoes actually hurt you?
ひなた、まどか、来てくれ。
What happened? I hurry over to them since Prez's desperate voice suggested something serious.
ちょっと着地の時にクラッときて、それで足を変な風についちゃって。
Well, I mean, that sounds like two problems. Have you, like, not eaten today, or do you have anemia? Which genuinely do have. And yeah, getting dizzy suddenly it's just a thing. It's a fact of life, unfortunately. You gotta kind of manage it. I mean, I don't want to say it has perks, but it's like, okay, so for me, I don't have severe anemia. I know people can have it that's like really bad. I can manage it really pretty well with just having a supplementary iron and trying to have a well-balanced diet. But if I go for very long without eating anything, I get very sleepy. It can be, again, like I said, useful is a word I don't like to use for this because it's a medical condition and someday it could become a problem. I would imagine it's not going to be too problematic until I get really old. If I get old enough where I can't care for myself, there's a decent chance that my anemia is going to be a much bigger, more persistent problem. But that's future thinking, real now me thinking. One thing that's kind of, quote, nice is that when I don't if I don't eat for a while, I just tend to fall asleep. And that can make it so that you're dealing with stuff passes easier. Good example is that when you get sick. Sometimes when you get sick, you lose your appetite. You don't want to eat very much. I lose my appetite and I don't eat very much, and I'm not feeling well anyway. I just tend to just knock out and just sleep for a long time, and that helps me feel better and helps me, let the time pass and all that. But yeah, so kind of doing a normal activity and then, coming in for a break, or like your heart rate suddenly going down because you're starting to relax and like you start coming off of that high, you suddenly your blood pressure can just spike down and you can kind of just get all woozy for a second.
見せてみて。グラシュ脱げる？はい。
That's not good. Taking off a shoe is not, like, if you hurt your ankle, taking off a shoe is never going to be fun, but a good, genuine, like, the signs we would be looking for a triage for an ankle, like, a genuine, a true ankle issue is severe pain on flexing and or touch, and swelling. People always worry about like whether they've broken like a bone. I'll tell you, like from experience and just the little medical knowledge I have and treating stuff that's happened to people, if you sprain something, you might see swelling. You probably will, but it won't be super immediate. It'll be like something that grows over time. You break something, that swelling happens probably within a couple minutes, and it's usually not even like remotely like questionable. It's like, oh, that looks a little swollen. It's like, no, it's like, oh my gosh, like when did your arm turn into a water balloon?
頑張って、こっち持つから。
Putting on and taking off grav shoes is similar to dealing with ski boots. Oh, crap. Okay, then that's really rough because what'll happen is you injure yourself, but those boots are incredibly rigid. It's a safety feature. But when they're rigid like that, it means if your foot starts to swell, it swells into the confines of the shoe, which makes it really hard to get off. And if you've broken something, you gotta get it off, and it makes it really, really rough. You can't cut those shoes off, so you just kind of have to deal with it. Though I guess that means detaching is more of a fitting term than taking off. Mashiro pulls off her grav shoes in an exaggerated manner, leaving her porcelain white bare foot exposed to the air. Why? It's not embarrassing. It's a foot. I guess the internet's kind of showed us you got to be careful of that nowadays, but come on, it's a medical crisis. Urged by Misaki, Prez and I to turn the opposite direction. It's not like we're trying to stare.
まあ、アリサカのことはマドカに任せておこう。間違った対応はしないだろうからな。
Sounds like Madoka has at least a general understanding of first aid. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Man, you can really tell they're siblings at times like these.
さて、素人だからあまりペタペタいじれないけど、内出血はないみたいだから、筋肉や血管に損傷はないみたいだね。
Well, that's freaking good, because those are like the worst case scenarios. Internal bleeding and muscles, like the types of muscle injury that would have to happen to be observable like this, excuse me, would be like a muscle tendon detaching. Like your muscles no longer adhered to your bone. That's horrifyingly bad. Like that's a super surgery and iffy if you'll recover type of surgery.
痛みが強くて我慢できないとかは？いえ、今はジンジンしてますが、我慢できないってところまでは。
Now for the real test, can you put weight on it?
だとしたら骨折、ひび、靭帯の損傷、断裂なんて心配もないかな。
My guess is it's going to be a sprain. Sprain or a strain, which is interesting because I've learned that there's actually a difference. Strain is about muscle. Sprain is about the tendons and internal like connective tissues.
でもちゃんと病院に行った方が確実だね。どうかな、鏡先生でも行ける？ひなたくんに聞いてるんだけど。
How am I supposed to know? I'm not looking. Oh, sorry.
どうしたの？
Nothing. Just surprised to see you're doing such a good job.
確かに。
I mean, it's not that surprising. Madoka's shown she's very competent. She just likes to be a goofball most of the time.
すっごく失礼な奴らがいるぞ。まどかちゃんすごいです。高藤との合宿でレベルアップしたのは君たちだけじゃないということだよ。
Did they have a medical course that you took there? That's actually really good.
私とてスコアの取り方からマッサージ、怪我の対応から選択の仕方までを習い。
All right, in order, just keeping score. I mean, I feel like that's not too difficult. Giving massages, cool, very nice. Treating injuries, very useful. Washing flight suits, probably very practical. Those flight suits probably are not made of materials you can just throw in a washing machine.
すごい。ネットで検索すれば大体解決するって分かったんだから。
Wait, just Google it. What's secret code? What are you talking about? Am I supposed to know what that is?
あ、本当にスマホ持ってる。
Oh, it's Google. Oh, no, that's her secret. Google it. Oh, Madoka. She's not wrong, though.
ま、対応の速さで十分フォローできてるとは思うけどね。美咲が今いいこと言った。
Calm down, Madoka. I was giving you genuine compliments before. I'm starting to regret that. The other thing, too, though, about Google is, like, that's also making me think that Madoka modern age would be just all up in ChatGPT for everything.
私はどうすれば
That's why I say, though, the next big test, put some weight on it, see if you can hold your own body weight. It might not be comfortable, but if you can at least, like, kind of limp your way, then just giving yourself some stretches, taking a break, you might be good enough to go home and let it rest up from there. If you can't put proper weight on it, and it hurts really bad to do so, like, not forcing yourself to, that's dangerous, but more of, like, you try to take a normal step, and your body's immediate reaction is to, like, pull it back and just no, then that's more of a, like, all right, we should at least see a doctor.
ごめん
She ended up killing what little faith we had in her. Oh, wow, that's our Madoka.
で、ひなたくん、鏡先生に見てもらえば大丈夫かな
No way. I mean, she could treat her injuries, but she obviously can't diagnose anything. We're gonna need an actual doctor for that.
マシロっち、保険証持ってるまあ、ないよね。だったら一度取りに戻らないと。
Is that her brother? I'll handle that. You stay with Mashiro.
いえ、病院まで行くほどのことじゃありませんから。ちょっとひねっただけだと思いますし。
You're probably right, and you probably don't need a hospital, but you do probably need an urgent care. But I guess with the medical system in Japan being very like it's a public system where people have access to medical care. Like you'll need your insurance card, but like everyone gets one. Then maybe they don't even do the urgent care thing. Maybe they just do hospitals. Because there's kind of something to that. But
心配してくださってありがとうございます。でも、私の不注意が原因で部活がこれ以上中断してしまうのは。
Nope. It's not carelessness. You're pushing your body. It's part of a sport and part of an activity. It's good. It's part of like helping you grow. But pushing your body always means that like you're likely to have injuries. I get where she's coming from. I mean, no one ever wants to burden others. However, she shouldn't put herself at risk for further injury because of that desire. Mashiro. I look at Mashiro dead in the eye. Then I gather my resolve and decide to speak in a firm tone. Let's go to the hospital.
嫌です。
Guess I failed.
いえ、今のは相手が先輩でしたから反射的に。そうじゃなくて今のはなしっていうか。
You shouldn't have even said that second part. Like her knee-jerk reaction is no. One clearly wasn't enough, so she deserves a second blow. Does she actually hate me?
まあまあ、無理してウニみたいにツンツンしなくても。ってことは、美咲先輩も私のことを心配してくださって。
The operative word there is to, like, you're worried about me?
そりゃあね。
Misaki, she's injured. Give her, like, a bone. Misaki's response is super awkward. Guess she's embarrassed.
わかりました。私、病院に行きます。
I guess if we're getting there, we're getting there.
まあ、それがいいと思うかな。
This is not a great relationship.
私、付き添ってくるね。
Thank you, Madoka. Thanks, I'll go report this to Miss Kagami. Probably best if I keep out of her way for now. Mashiro stumbles to her feet while leaning on Madoka's shoulder.
付き添い、美咲じゃなくてごめんね。これ以上、部活の時間を割きたくありませんから。青柳先輩こそ、ありがとうございます。それと...
Mashiro turns her head in my direction. Mashiro gives me a somewhat awkward bow, then heads off to the hospital. Why is she bowing? One moment she's acting all cool, and the next she's bowing to me. How am I supposed to interpret that? Dude, frickin', I don't know. I usually can pick up on what the writers are going for, or even just people in general, but that Mashiro is just a frickin'... She's a nut to crack.
まあ、スポーツをやってるわけだからな。こういうこともあるさ。気にするな。
I don't think I'm the one that needs to be worried. I'm worried for Mashiro, but I'm worried about her reactions and her focus. Like, she really feels like she's part of this team just because of Misaki. She has no current personal stake in this, it feels like, and that's not healthy. Because it's like, she's spending her time here to be with a person. It'd be like joining a club because you have a crush on someone in there. That's not a healthy way to start a club. Or to start like an activity that takes devotion. Friends claps you on the back to cheer me up. Seems like he's misunderstanding the situation. I'm not depressed because Mashiro got injured under my watch. Still, I do appreciate the thought. You're wrong.
だったら何なんだ?
Well, I wasn't thinking about her injury. I was just wondering if she hates me. And honestly, that thought's nothing new. I mean, she's always polite, sometimes even to a fault, so that isn't an issue. But all our conversations feel sort of empty, like they lack any real emotion. Kind of makes me think that she's forcing herself to talk to me. Yeah, that's basically what I believe too. Up until recently, that didn't really matter. We never spent much time together, so I never once worried about it. However, now that I'm her coach, the distance between us is making my life more difficult. And I finally reached a point where I'm not sure I know what's wrong. Namely that Mashiro doesn't really like me.
そうですか?
Were we speaking out loud? What?
まあ、コーチと選手となると年齢の差よりも上下関係を意識するだろうからな。反発する人間がいてもおかしくはないかもしれん。
Maybe I was that was a summary of a conversation that we had. That would make a bit more sense. Why they suddenly know what I was saying.
それもそうだけど、私とマサヤの間に何かあるって邪推してるだけじゃないのかな。
I think I wouldn't say that. I think if she genuinely thought that was happening, she'd be a lot more emotional about it. And I also think she would accept it eventually. Like, that would be a way we could move past it, because at first she'd feel like frustrated, like sad, and like not betrayed, but like, you know, it sucks when somebody you have a crush on, you know, it gets in a relationship with somebody else. Like, that's always really painful. But usually your anger for a reasonable person isn't directed at either of those people in that relationship, because you can understand that, like, you know, just because you like somebody doesn't mean they like you back. And just because you think you'll be a perfect match for each other doesn't mean that that's the way things are going to play out. And oftentimes we're terrible judges of how good a relationship we would be for another person just on a whim. So I think what this is more is that she's paranoid because she doesn't know for sure. And that makes her more testy, because she feels like if she just puts up a little resistance, she might be, or catches Misaki's eye a bit more, then she'll win. It won't be a competition anymore. Instead, it feels like we're both in the running, and that makes her kind of have this like edge to her. If we actually won and started dating Misaki, like I said, I think at first she'd be really frustrated and sad, but she would accept it and maybe, you know, be willing to kind of roll with it out of this idea of like, well, if Misaki's clearly happy, then I suppose that's something. You know, that bitter pill to swallow that many people end up having to go for.
正直に言えば、俺もそれが一番だと思う。
Huh.
マサヤさんが落ち込んでる。
No one other than Asuka is surprised by the claim, which means I'm probably right. Heck, they even think she hates me for the exact same reason I do.
マサヤさん、ファイトです。
Thanks, Asuka. I'll be fine. Don't worry. Asuka's sudden attempt to cheer me up actually helps a little. Man, it was easier to coach somebody who was this straightforward.
ひなた、あまり一人で背負い込むなよ。
Huh?
お前はよくやってくれている。さっき俺は上下関係の話をしたが、お前は後輩だけど、コーチとして頼もしく思っている。
He actually has a really good point here. He's basically saying like, hey, like, delegate, work, lean on each other. Let us like work together. And that's something that a lot of people who are in leadership, especially when they're new to leadership, struggles with, because they feel that burden of responsibility. Why are you... My stupid headphones, I need to get new ones. They're freaking weird now. Go away. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I hope that didn't even show up on the screen, but it probably did. Anyway, just whatever. Anyway, so, oh god, my train of thought was gone. Hang on a sec, let's get back to it. Oh yeah, he's saying, don't believe that just because you're in a leadership role that you have to do it all. Part of being in leadership is actually delegating properly, and that's in a really critical part of the structure. I hate the pyramid structure because it makes it like pyramid scheming, but like the idea of like having leadership and then having teams underneath those leaderships and kind of branching down is meant to be able to diffuse authority. That leadership take care of the big picture problems or the big overarching issues, like tasks that are causing like issues, or maybe getting things assigned to certain people because you can trust that they can handle them. But if you're also trying to basically do the job that everyone else is doing underneath you, that means that you're trying to do two jobs at once. That's just not how that's supposed to work. Delegation is key. And part of delegation is trusting. Trusting that the people that you oversee and have that authority over are going to take care of you and have your back. That you can ask them to do something, and if they say they'll do it, that you'll know that it'll be done right. If you can't do that, then that means that there's a disconnect. Because the fact that anybody's working there and it has had a job longer than like 3-6 months means that they should be competent enough to do what you ask them to, as long as you're being reasonable. I don't know. Leadership's a fascinating topic, and it's funny because no matter who you talk to, leadership, like what good leadership looks like, how it feels, and what it's actually like to be in it, will sound completely different. But my experience has been a lot about how it's all about delegation. Not about that you being better. It's just you have responsibility to make different choices than everyone else does. You need to accept and embrace those choices and also be able to trust that the choices that you could do and want to do, but that they have the capacity to do, that you can trust them and that you do trust them. You show them that you trust them. That's the hardest part too, though, because like oftentimes you'll want to feel like I need to do it the right way, but the right way isn't necessarily your way. Your way has a right way, but there's other ways to get the same task done. You got to trust other people, even if they do it in a way you don't think is right.
だが、それは一面に過ぎない。お前は俺の後輩だ。他の部員から見れば同級生か先輩でしかない。
He's right.
お前はコーチなだけじゃない。頼ることを忘れるな。信用することを諦めるな。
A lot of times,
A
lot of times games and stories like this have a whole arc where the person has to like come to terms with this reality. He's saying this, which is really true, but I bet you we still have to wrestle with it, and that's part of what we're going to be learning across this chapter, is learning to be able to trust even if it feels like we need to take care of it ourselves. Prez. He's blowing things out of proportion, but his words are quite soothing.
大体筋肉が解決してくれるんだから。
You are related to Madoka. No, maybe something wasn't the right word there. Only Prez would ever think talking about muscles comforting.
そうですよ、マスヤさん。私でよければ力いっぱいお手伝いします。
Thank you, Asuka. The nice thing about is that knowing that she's so earnest that she 100% genuinely means this. Like she didn't have to like say anything more. Like she's right there to the hilt. Asuka chimes in with an excited tone. Thanks. Asuka's going kind of overboard, but that honesty suits her.
マスヤさんはマシロちゃんと仲良くしたいんですよね。だったら簡単です。
I don't know how that.
仲良くしちゃえばいいんです。
I feel like you overestimate how easy friendship is. It's funny because like this is something I actually would like to ask you if you're watching this right now. Think about the closest friends you have right now, or maybe even the closest friends you had in like school. Maybe you've drifted since then because, you know, that's kind of an inevitability with life. You go in different directions, and despite what you might try, you're not likely to maintain those relationships in quite the same way. But think back to them, especially the people who mean the most to you, who you're closest with. Can you remember how you became friends with them? Because that's something I struggle with all the time. I can remember specifically one of my closest friends in middle school and high school. He and I happened to ride the same bus, and one day we happened to sit next to each other, and we just got talking and ended up sharing. We started talking about Halo 2 because like it was coming out soon, and we were both excited for the Halo series, and we kind of just got talking about it, realized we both liked it, and then when we got the games, we started hanging out to play it together. And I'm not sure how, but I don't know how talking about video games on a bus seat together became us being such close friends. But like the leap was so quick. It really was. It felt like it was just like, boom, it was over. And I can't for the life of me figure out how that happened. And I think about my other friendships, and again, I counted the same ways. Like I know we had similar interests, and I can remember kind of vaguely what we started talking about when we first like started talking. But I don't know how I transitioned from like, hey, this is somebody whom I have like a shared hobby with, to I'm over at their house and their family invites me over for dinner. Like, where was that transition? Like, where did that journey happen? I genuinely don't know. I feel like I'm pretty freaking lucky I managed to have friends and still have friends to this day, because I don't know what the mechanism of making friends is. And if I had someone come to me and say like, hey, I don't know, I feel like I don't know have any friends. How do you make friends with somebody? I would be like, I genuinely don't know. I'd just be shrugging. I'd be like, I don't know. Fetch me. Just do
うま
it.
く飛びたいのに飛べないなら練習します。ですから、仲良くなりたいときは仲良くすればいいんですよ。
Holy crap, that implies that Asuka has times where she can't seem to fly and wants to fly. I guess she's probably gotten past that. That sounds like early day Asuka. True. Honestly, that makes no sense, but her enthusiasm is contagious. And I can't say I hate that.
じゃ、私はこれで。
Wait, but we could still do practice. Hey, wait, where do you think you're going?
だってマサヤ真白と仲良くなりたいんでしょ？だったら私と距離を置くのが得策かなーって。
No, wait, that's not what I want. Well, Misaki is the #1 reason Mashiro hates me. I get the feeling though if you don't show up, she won't show up either. But taking her out of the equation won't solve anything. I mean, we can't just avoid each other forever. Plus, I know that's not why Misaki's trying to leave. You can't fool me. You just want to skip practice, don't you? That's my biggest worry when it comes to Misaki.
そんなことないってば。ないよ。ないかも。
That last little maybe. And at least try to sound more convincing. She really is bad at lying. Maybe this isn't the best time to bring up my concerns, but as they say, there's no time like the present. Misaki, what should I tell her to do? Fetch me. See, this is tough. I don't know what I want to do here. It's not cut and dry. Like my instinct initially is to try and tell her to try harder. I don't know how she would respond to that though. Her whole life has seemingly been very much like I do what I want at my pace and I'm successful. She did really good at the training camp. I mean, she lost, but she did pretty solid. But I feel like if I just let her get away with it or not express to her that I care or want this to succeed, I won't know what'll happen. I think if I leave her be, she'll be content. But I don't think she'll push. But I feel like if I push, she might be pushed away. I don't know. I don't know because I feel like I can't foretell or even guess what these choices will lead to. Sometimes that's a good thing. I actually really like it when visual novels do this because I don't like it when visual novels make it really apparent what decisions will do what at all the time. Now, sometimes they get so cryptic it could be ridiculous. Like I think Grisaya could be so cryptic that like you would be attempting to go a direction, you click the choice, it's a binary choice, one or the other, and the opposite of what you thought would happen happens, and you find out that the other route would do exactly what you wanted to happen, but it wasn't worded very well. And I'm getting some Grisaya vibes when it comes to the way that this game's been made, so yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna just follow my gut for this first playthrough. I'm gonna tell her to try harder. Can't you work a little harder? It's not like she's being lazy, but I can tell she's holding back. That really makes me wonder if her heart's in it at all. Does Misaki really actually enjoy FC?
やってるって本気出してるよ。
I don't know if I believe that. Because you do good, but I feel like you could do better. No, you aren't. I mean, back when you faced Shindo-san. I stopped before I finished that sentence. Uh-oh. Misaki looks rather annoyed right now, which is rare for her. I guess this wasn't the right time to bring that up. Misaki.
私は私なりに本気でやってるよ。マサヤが真剣なのはわかるけどさ。
Ugh. Look, at least tell me what the problem is. If you don't...
じゃ、行くから。
Hey, wait up! We aren't done here! I can't just let her go off on her own when she's clearly upset.
じゃあまた明日。
Unfortunately, Misaki disregards my words and flies off.
マサヤさん。
Asuka approached me.
ミサキちゃん、マシロちゃんのところにお見舞いに行くつもりなんじゃないでしょうか。
That's actually probably fair. Oh, yeah, maybe. How'd I miss that? I'm an idiot. Makes sense that she's too embarrassed to tell us what she wants to do. However, Mashiro said she didn't want Misaki to waste practice time. So the way I see it, not finishing practice is actually the wrong choice on Misaki's part. But dude, you can't, we just talked about trusting, right? You can't just decide what people's right choices are. You can say what you want to say, but you can't just decide what the best course of action is for someone. You know, this just goes to show that my relationship with Misaki is pretty rocky too. Yeah, I think that's what this whole point's been about. It's like basically it's like, oh, we have a cool teammates. Yay, we're here together. Oh, we don't know anything about most of you. Great, just great.
きっとそうですよ。
Asuka snaps me out of my thoughts with those words and looks up at me with the sparkling eyes and a beaming smile. Yeah, I hope so. I respond with a smile of my own. Okay, only you two are left, but we'll continue our practice anyway.
望むところだ。
Ooh. Okay. It is looks like she's working hard.
また勝てなかった高藤のキャプテン。
Okay, so she took that really personally. Oh, that's right. Duh. I think I even mentioned this at the time, but that's the thing. When you're a person who feels like they don't have to try very hard and they always end up succeeding, and then you do fail, it feels so much worse.
もう一回。誰？
You look good out there, but you're gonna tire yourself out at this rate.
マサヤ？
Misaki's surprised to see me. Of course she is. After Misaki left early, we carried on and finished practice, so it's been quite a while. Plus, this spot is near Misaki's place, which is nowhere near my house. Why don't you try doing that during practice? I can actually throw a couple pointers your way if you do. Misaki's grave look on her face. Who were you imagining as your opponent there? She was striding about wildly in an attempt to keep up with some invisible opponent. Since she said she lost again, maybe it was Shindo-san?
別に最近無性に飛びたくなる時があってがむしゃらに飛ばないとおかしくなりそうになるだけ。
I'm guessing lately means since the training camp with Takafuji. I wasn't completely convinced a moment ago, but based on her reaction, I could tell she was shadow boxing with Shindo-san. Then do that during practice. And also apologize to Asuka tomorrow.
どうして？
Because she believed in you. She refused to even entertain the thought that Misaki was skipping practice. Though to be fair, solo practice isn't exactly skipping.
よくわかんないけど練習サボったことなら明日謝っておく。というわけで帰って。
Oh yeah, Misaki and Mashiro they do not care for us very much, do they? Her words are calm, but her expression is pretty cold. Sorry for showing up out of the blue. You didn't answer your phone, so I called your place and your grandmother told me I could probably find you here.
おばあちゃんが？
Her stern expression softens at the mention of her grandmother. That's true. Probably because that makes it sound less like we were stalking her, which is what she probably initially thought. Actually, I missed one step there. Called Madoka first to confirm that Misaki didn't go to visit Mashiro. Oh, interesting. She didn't.
で、じゃあ結局私のとこに来たよって何？
About that. I straightened my posture even though we're mid-air, and then... Please, Misaki, help me win over Mashiro. I bow my head to her.
Huh?
Misaki's eyes widen in surprise. Guess she wasn't expecting that.
要はマサヤとマシロが仲良くなるアドバイスをしろと？
I mean, yeah. Because goodness knows I don't know how to do it. Oh yeah, sorry if I gave you the wrong idea.
まあちょっと面白かったけどね。マサヤとマシロのカップリングとか想像しただけでご飯が進みそう。
Yeah, so funny. I forgot to laugh. I don't know, man. The thing is, I get the feeling if she is a route in this game, which frankly at this point I don't even know if that's true, but if Mashiro is a route that is in this game, they are gonna have to sell her hard to me because at this point, there's just nothing there. Misaki chuckles to herself.
でもさ、マサヤ分かってる？あの子がマサヤにそっけない理由って、
Yeah,
私だよ。
I know, right? That's exactly why you're the only one I can turn to for help. Keeping you at arm's length won't change anything at this point.
あえて近づいても火に油を注ぐだけじゃない？
I mean, I'm not trying to get all buddy-buddy, I just need some advice. You know Mashiro better than anyone, so you're the perfect choice.
わかったようなわからないような。
Well, Prez told me I should rely on you guys more, which makes sense to me. I probably seem like a total loser right now, but I can't let my worries hold me back. That's right, man. Asking for help. You feel like a loser, but it's actually the right thing to do.
本当に私が原因ならすぐ解決できる方法があるけど。
You're not the cause. We just talked about that. And that is...
マシロをしっかりと安心させる。具体的には私がマシロの望む関係になる。
That's fair! She'd be super happy with that result. I stare at Misaki in shock. Is he serious? Would you want to do that?
いいわけないでしょ。何をどこまで望まれてるのかわからないのに。
That is a very soft no. As in, you might be open to the idea. I imagine you'd be a lot more open to it if you got to know her real reasoning and she wasn't so desperate for it. That's interesting. That's interesting. Oh, okay. That would be interesting. Oh, what if that's the case? What if they're actually not routes in this game? What if they're technically like each other's route? So, like, what we end up doing is over the course of the adventure, we see them actually form a true relationship between each other, and they're always meant to be kind of like their own thing, not something that we ever get involved with. Though, in hindsight, I'm already thinking back and thinking like, wait a minute, there is the intro Psycho video that definitely makes it look like there's certain pictures in that would defy that completely, but I would almost appreciate that. I do like it when characters in the story are not tidally locked to the main character. It's funny, I was thinking about this recently with Ace Academy. Like, Ace Academy was a bit rough around the edges, especially because it was a first title from a developer. But one of the things I loved about it was that there was a route with a Mayu, which is a very interesting, good route. But the route starts because she has a crush on your, like, self-appointed best friend. And what's fun is that if you don't end up on her route, those two end up together. And they do it in a way that feels really natural. And that makes a good contrast as well if you do go down her route and she ends up falling for you. Because the process of that is really fun and not super cut and dry. Like, it basically comes down to, like, you're giving her advice on how to, like, start dating him. And then when she kind of, like, gets to the point where she would confess her feelings, she just can't. Because all she ends up thinking about is you instead. And then she realizes that her feelings have changed. And it was a cool exploration of that. That would be a fun thing if this game did that too. For some reason, I feel a little relieved. Actually, I've been wondering. Wait, why do you feel relieved? Hang on. What is your relationship exactly?
そうやって改まって聞かれると、私も頭が痛くなりそうなんだけど。
Oh yeah, welcome to dating in general, or even like not dating. Oh, actually, you know, I think the not dating is more of a headache because if it feels like if you're friends with somebody and you get that impression that you're not 100% on, but you're like 70% on, that you're like, I think they might like me, but you don't like them. Like, you know in your heart, you're like, I really just don't see us working, and I'm not sure I want to. But you don't want to sacrifice the friendship because you like being friends. It puts you in this really awkward spot that sucks.
いい子なんだけどね。甘い顔するとどこまでも際限なくなっちゃうんだ。
Yeah. How do you two first meet? Maybe knowing that will help somehow.
それは私一人の話じゃないから言えないかな。
Oh, interesting. I see.
多分普通の正しい形としてはさ、信頼とかって日々の言動の積み重ねが裏付けてくんだよ。
I understand that, but like the way things are going, it feels like we're going backward, not forward. I hope that works. I'll keep trying. I'll close the distance between us someday, though that's only in the best case scenario.
単純に積み重ねる時間がまだ短すぎるってのはあるだろうね。
Part of the problem is that she actively avoids me.
誰も悪くないんだから、いつか時間が解決するだろうけど、それを待っていられない現状があるわけで。
Yeah, there you go.
さらに真白の場合は、私を挟んでスタート地点が通常よりもさらに後方だし。
I also get the feeling that it's not actually hate. I think she hates the concept of me and Misaki being together. But I don't think she hates me per se. I think she's just dismissive or, like, just could care less about me. Yeah, she probably doesn't even want to talk to me. Man, what a pain. Gotta say, though,
というか
you seem to be enjoying yourself. To be honest, I expected her to find my cry for help annoying.
どうだろう
Oh my gosh. She seems to be lost in thought right now.
そうだねいつも偉そうなマサヤがそこそこの付き合いで初めて私に首相に相談してきたから面白がってるのかも
Okay, fair, and yes. Do you hate me too?
まあまあ嫌いじゃないよ私は
I don't know if I can trust that. Kinda hard to accept that right now.
相談料は何かな
What do you want? She could at least pretend to care about something other than a reward. How about I reward you based on results? You'll get as much udon as work deserves.
こうなったら荒療治しかないと思うんだよね
Whoa, gosh, what is this? God, that upped her motivation. Your last resort is what exactly? What does she mean? Hey. You know what? Let's save this exploration of her last resort. Happy-faced daydreaming of udon. We'll save that for next episode. This is good music to end it on. We've been going for a while, and I gotta get to bed. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for being part of the channel. There's a lot going on. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. So we found a bunny that had gotten pretty injured outside, and I am going to be getting up at the crack of dawn tomorrow to take it to a rehab center where it hopefully can be recovered because it doesn't look so injured it can't get better, but in the wild it wouldn't stand a chance. So we talked to a wildlife a rehabilitation group where they help wild animals that get injured recover and then release them back into the wild once they can be. It's like a halfway home kind of thing for wild animals that can't be domesticated. And so I'm going to be taking them to there before I go to work, but it's going to mean very early morning for me, so I definitely need to get some sleep, but appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining me for the channel, joining me for this episode. I look forward to seeing what you think about it in the next part, so thank you so much for being here. Until the next video watching me, I'll see you in next. I'll see you there.